Okay, so this is Nihil Young. My actual name is Mattia. My artist name is Nihil Young, and I want to break down to you my forthcoming album Compass and tell you a little bit about it. So the album it was like a product of years and years of personal experiences. I was trying to condense it. I thought it'd be just like a good idea to come up with multiple tracks at once because I've been doing singles and remixes for quite some time now. I thought it'd be nice to tell a story, most importantly. And this is how I felt like doing, especially in light of recent events. Like my daughter was born a couple of years ago. My dad passed away a couple of years ago, right after basically. So yeah, it's a number of things that just I thought it'd be good to like put together, like assemble together and put some thoughts together, write about it, and just let it out in the world. You know what I mean? I always like put out a little bit of everything from techno to progressive house to melodic stuff, a little bit of drum and bass even like a couple of years ago, just as a fun little experiment. So even here, I thought it'd be nice to just condense, like, just do a mixture of everything that I've been putting out over the years, especially as Neil Young, let's say it, I would have to say. I even made an album like a number of years ago on King Street, New York, and it was like mostly just that, like house, deep house, indie dance. I guess you could call it like Italo disco, even a little bit. This is what I've been doing over the years, is like assembling a number of genres and condensing them into my thing, which is what represents me the most. I don't know if necessarily like many people are familiar with this side of me, but yeah, over the years I run like mostly Neil Young, let's say it, and Seven Star. I was like cinematic techno with my own vocals. I would sing like a few lines. I would use like vocal manipulation, vocoders and stuff. It's always been like super creative for me and fun to just like do multiple things, step out of my comfort zone and do experiment with sound design and like as many different genres as possible. I think my favorite genre at the moment would be drum and bass, especially like neuro drum and bass, because it's like the sound design, you know, it's absolute like cinema. You know what I mean? Like it's absolute cinema. You know what I mean? It's amazing, like in the way that you can do whatever you can think of. You can do like split like a single sound into 100 different sounds and stuff, and it gets so creative. And there's no limit to like creativity when it comes to certain genres. And I'd say the drum and bass, like neuro or whatever it is, like it's incredible. You know what I mean? But since I'm doing this stuff for a while now, of course, I'm not gonna jump to drum and bass. That there's countless people doing it, amazing, you know, and I can just look at it and be like, oh, okay, let's try to do something like this because it's gonna inspire me for sure to come out with specific sounds and sound design techniques, and it's like a fun little practice exercise, I would say, just to grow up as an artist, sound designer and stuff. Even certain like mixing techniques that are really peculiar to specific bass genres, like drum and bass. It just gets you places, you know what I mean? I really love and enjoy writing. No, I'm not looking at it. Excuse me. I really enjoy and actually love like songwriting. It's like the most creative aspect of doing it for me because it's like just like sound design and arranging stuff and get to mix it and you know, turn it into like something, a story, like a storyline, you know, something that makes sense in the end. You have to be super creative, inspired and stuff. It's not always the case that you're like jumping straight into songwriting. I would say that you have to get into some kind of a zone in a way, and it doesn't just happen, and it's not like you're just going to make it happen necessarily like at any given time or moment. But I like, for example, driving with no music on, and this is when I get a lot of inspiration, like random words or melodies, and then I get into like, oh, this would be nice as a hook, or like you know, this line will make sense, and then like I put it, I try to like make it work inside my head, and then usually I pull up the recorder, I record some lines, some you know, melodies for the top line, and then when I actually get to be inspired and alone, which is when it happens, I would just lay down, you know, the words, the lines, and expand on them. And this has been like a work of it's spanned like a few years, I would say, at least like 7 or even more, where I would have this like recurring lines in my head that I will record on the phone or just like into the microphone and stuff. The one that keeps like popping up in my head is the one about my daughter, even though she wasn't even an idea. When I had this line in my head, it was like, "You will cry, and you will cry," and this kept popping up on my head like for several years, and I was like, "Oh, I have to do a song about this," and this was perfect because then my little daughter was born, and I was like, "Okay, this is about her," you know what I mean? This is like, you will cry and you will laugh and you will grow up, you know what I mean? You get to experience and see things, enjoy life, and be sad about it, and have like a human experience and grow up because of it. So then over the years, you have to figure out, I'm Italian, by the way, so this is not like, my English is not perfect or anything. So I was relying on dictionaries and stuff, rhymearies and stuff like that. And I mean, LLMs like ChatGPT and stuff honestly are really helpful for this, because sometimes I just go back and like pull a poem that I wrote like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, and I put it through ChatGPT, and I would ask like, I wonder how this would sound like put in rhymes in English, you know what I mean, or some specific other language. It's how I've done like a couple different tracks, even one in French, for example. I was like, people were like, why would you do like a poem in French? It doesn't make sense. But I thought it was cool because like it just wasn't the same in Italian, you know what I mean? So like this is a good thing about AI, is that it's helped me like coming, you know, going beyond like how do you say winning? How do you say like fucking? You know what I mean? Like you're fighting against your language barrier, like I'm doing right now with this interview. Like it really helped me like figuring out songwriting in a big way, to be honest. Because I would do just a few random lines before that. Now it really helps me doing like, okay, let's translate it to English instead of using a rhyme. Let's see what this would rhyme with. Let's see what the best word. Like, give me a list of, I don't know, 100 words that will rhyme and will make sense. And then I'm like, oh, okay, this can be creative and helpful. You know what I mean? Especially for writing. I want the listener to experience, to understand, to feel, to be sad, to laugh, to say, oh, okay. I mean, that happened to me too. Like, what I'm saying is, like, when I wrote these things, I was like, if you're human, if you're like a human being, you must have experienced something like this, whether it's like a loss of a friend or a father or a relative, like it happened, whether you felt like joy or sadness, or whether you cried. You know, this is like what being human is. This is like my story. All of these are like really private, personal moments, and sometimes they're not just about me, but like from my brother's perspective, or from a friend of mine who had like who struggle with mental health issues and stuff like this. So if you're a human, like you have experienced depression at some point in your life, you have felt like over the moon about something, or like you lost someone. And it's not like I wanted to make something that is relatable to trigger the algorithm or whatever it is that you do these days, you know, to be successful. It was just like me trying to tell a story, which is my story, and you know, it's about my family, my life, and it's everything is, you know, it's real. It really happened, all of it. Even like the craziest thing that you're gonna hear on the album, like even if it sounds psychedelic or like made up, it actually really happened. So it's really deep, and I like it means a lot to me, and I hope it means something to the listener. My family is like it's all over the album basically. So it's mostly about my relationship with how I met and my relationship with my wife, and it's about my daughter, it's about my father, my brother, it's about my mother. So it's all about family and, you know, real life things that happen, have happened over the years. The loss of my father is on the song with Frederick. It's called "Gone Too Soon," and it's for example, this one is from the perspective. Of course, it's about me as well, but it's from the perspective of my brother, who saw him pass away in the hospital because like I wasn't there. So the lines, the lyrics, the lines of the song, like are from my brother's perspective. He doesn't even know about it. I just wrote about it. You know what I mean? Because he got to be there as he was passing away in the hospital, and I wasn't there because I'm living in Poland. I was trying to go there to say, you know, to stay with my dad before he passed. I mean, I wasn't necessarily sure that he was gonna pass away, but that's what happened. And he just died when I got there, you know, the same night. I took a flight, I flew back to Palermo, to my hometown, trying to reach my dad. And then when I land, I see my brother and mother, and they were crying and told me that he just passed the same night. So then thinking about it, I was like, I'm trying to process this because I was never, I was close, you know, we didn't have necessarily like a bad relationship with my dad. Again, there's nothing that I would say I'm mad at him about or stuff like this. But we, you know, even I being like introvert and maybe a little bit autistic when I was growing up, like we weren't like necessarily so close as to like have conversations and stuff all the time, or like, okay, let's talk on the phone, how are you doing, but you know what I mean, it was always like a little bit disconnected in a way, you know. So this is what I'm trying to convey in the song, but it's also the same thing that my brother experienced, plus the fact that he was there to see it happen. And it's about like this lack of connection, the inability to say goodbye, you know, to be with him in the end, and so many things that were left there, you know, hanging in the air, and there was never like, you know, there was never like closure in a way. So yeah, this is how it is all about it, like all about my family, and there's bits about my daughter, and multiple songs about my wife, of course, because she's my everything, and you know, we grew up together a lot over the years. We had a beautiful child together. We had so many like shared crazy experiences, and you know, intimate, I don't know, this level of connection that you get to experience with this one person is like beyond what words could possibly convey. It's like magic. I wouldn't even know what to say. Like, so I'm trying to say it in the lines, in the songs.
Have you played the album to your daughter? Does she
Yeah, yeah, she loves it. She vibes to it. She's really cute. She loves music. Like she loves dancing. She really loves what I do. Like I'm really happy. Even if it's drum and bass or like the crazy stuff that I do, anytime I play it, like I accidentally play it, like in the studio or through the headphones, you see she instantly looks at you and she vibes to the songs. And it's super cute. So my album Compass is out now. It's 50 brand new songs. It's on collaboration with some of my favorite artists. And I really hope you enjoy the message and feel something about it, feel some way about it. And that's it.